With the latest PTU patch, we finally got to take a glimpse at the upcoming RSI fighter, the RSI Scorpius. Now of course this video is going to contain spoilers, so if there's anything that you don't want to know in advance of Fleet Week, then don't watch this video, but if like me you're curious as to what this ship is, then come along and join us in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Verse.
Quantum travel initiated.
I'm going to start off and just say this isn't a scripted video like our videos normally are. This is just me rambling as I go, so apologies if I'm not as coherent as I normally are. Now, on the left here, you can see we have an Aegis Gladius. These are all scaled properly, by the way, so just keep in mind that the scales that are used in the game files are 2 meters, they are exact, so this should be fairly accurate, although there may be a little bit of leeway, especially with hollow viewer models, which is what this, the RSI Scorpius, is, or RSI X-Wing. I mean, it's an X-Wing, let's be honest here. So this was originally rumoured to be a light fighter, but this is very much now a heavy fighter. So as you can see, we have a weapon on each of the 4 wings, as well as a remote turret. Now this is probably going to be a 2-man ship. I'd find it extremely unlikely this will be a 1-man ship based on the size. So again, that is a Gladius for comparison. You could probably fit 2 people in here quite comfortably. I'd find it odd that we'd have a remote turret on the top with 4 weapons that isn't going to be commanded by a second player. So, looking at each of these weapons, I've imported the models of both the size 3 and the size 4 Klaus and Werner CF series, which is what all the weapons on the ship appear to be by default. Now, as you can see, they are a smidge bigger than the size 3s, but they're substantially smaller than the size 4s, which makes me fairly confident in saying that these are just going to be size 3s, and that there is a bit of a scaling issue with the hollow viewer model. If we move to the turret, we can see that the story continues the same. Again, this is a size 3 Klaus and Werner CF series, and it does match pretty closely. Again, they look slightly bigger on the ship, but the chances are that is a scaling issue. Now, of course, it could be that actually it's been scaled smaller and these are all size 4s. The problem is that would then give the ship 8 size 4 guns, which would be equivalent to 2 hammerhead turrets. That's a lot of firepower in a single ship, especially a fighter. I would be genuinely surprised to see it have that much firepower. I mean, for context, so the Vanguard with its 4 size 2s and 1 size 5 wouldn't come close, put it that way. This would completely and utterly negate the Vanguard if these were size 4s. Unless, of course, CIG plan to do something weird with weapon sizes in the future. That doesn't seem as likely, not with such close weapon sizes. So, again, pretty confident these are size 3s. The missiles, now the missile bays they look to be basically exactly as what we had on the Nomad, the Consolidated Outlands Nomad, where it's these bespoke, built-in internal bays. You can't change the weapon size, the ordnance size as a consequence. Wait for 3ds Max to catch up, there we go. Now, with these ordnance bays, you can see they are way too big to be for size 1, but they seem a bit too small to be for size 2. Now, with everything appearing to be scaled slightly too big, it could just be that the weapons are scaled too big, and in actuality these are size 2s, and yeah. Not quite sure on that one. I'm leaning towards size 2s. Size 1s for a heavy fighter like this just makes 0 sense. So size 2s do seem to be the most likely. There appears to be 8 in total, so that's going to be 8 size 2 missiles, which for a heavy fighter is about what you'd expect to see. It's a good complement. It's more than enough to take down any more nimble vessels. As you can see, there are of course 4 or what appear to be retro thrusters, so it should be able to stop pretty solid. They obviously translate to main engines as well. So again, this thing should be fairly rapid, all things considered. As we look around the ship, we can see what appears to be rather large mav thrusters there. Not seeing anything on the back, but they could be hidden away. And looks like potentially an entrance point to the ship there. And a couple more mav thrusters. So it looks like it should be able to move relatively quickly in a straight line from what we can see. Maneuverability is questionable. These could be very powerful mavs. They could be quite weak. We don't know yet. As it is an X-Wing inspired ship, I'm just going to remove that grid. You can see quite clearly as well, these wings are designed to come up and down, so they will fold. So if I just rotate you like so, we can see these are probably, I'm already in rotate mode. Yeah, we can see that they're probably going to rotate much like that. Obviously that's not perfect because I'm just doing it sort of quickly. But that gives you an idea of what the ship's probably going to look like in some form of collapsed state, where the wings are going to come in close together. Whether there's going to be some benefit to this, like in Star Wars, for those who aren't as familiar with the franchise, X-Wings have a cruise mode, and I think it's called cruise mode, and an attack mode, the attack mode being where the wings are open. And I think that just gives them more agility, etc. So we could see that different geometry gives it different abilities. Who knows? Honestly, I mean, it's an X-Wing, right? It is literally just an X-Wing. We've already got the Millennium Falcon in-game in the guise of the Mercury Star Runner. So now we've got an X-Wing. Where's my TIE Fighter, damn it, CIG? I want a TIE Fighter. Or a TIE Bomber. TIE Bomber would be even better. This is a fighter. There's not a lot more that we can really garner from this. I'm genuinely curious, what is everyone else's thoughts? Do you think this is going to be a ship to just make the Vanguard completely irrelevant? I mean, 8 size 3 guns is a lot of firepower. That's 2 Aegis Sabres in one package that's probably going to be relatively well armoured. It does look like it's going to have the same problem that the Constellation has, in that if you blow off one of these wings, bye-bye weapon. Which could potentially make it a bit flimsy, but unlike the Constellation, it's got a big turret on the top that's actually going to still put down a decent amount of firepower. So, yeah. Leave your thoughts down below, and with that, we thank you for watching, and we'll catch y'all next time.